Hey everyone, it's Aubrey, recovering perfectionist, queen of distraction slash gardener, back for another garden tour in the rain. From what I saw in the weather forecast, this is supposed to be like the last day that we have rain, and then we're going to have a significant stretch of sunny weather, like up to 78. I'm extremely excited for that because it's just been a lot of rain, and we did have a decent Saturday, so I got some stuff done outside, thankfully, and Alec ended up taking a nap, so I had like a 2-hour chunk where I was able to just rally, get stuff in the ground. So that's mainly what we're going to be chatting about today, is what I put in the ground over the course of the last few days. The garden is doing really well. Things are coming up. I know I had mentioned clearing out the leaves from my cabbage bed last week. I still haven't done that, but that is going to be on my to-do list for when the rain clears. I was able to get some weeding done along this edge of the bed. I still have obviously a lot to do, but I added some soil to this section. There is nothing in this portion right here, but along this area here, I did plant the second variety of cucumbers that I wanted to get into the ground. I popped my zinnias in the ground, and then let's see, I feel like there's something else I planted over here, right here where it's kind of flat. I planted my last 3 birdhouse gourd seeds, and if you were with me last year, maybe you recall my birdhouse gourds. We had 2 decent sized birdhouse gourds, but we did not allow them to dry out properly, so those ended up in the compost. So those last 3 seeds are in the ground from that packet that I bought a few years back, and I'm really hoping that we'll at least get one this year so we can plant more seeds in the future. None of the zucchini seeds that I planted have popped up yet, but I did plug in another 2 of my zinnia starts right there. I don't think I did anything in the garden, and everything is just making little progress here and there. And this portion right here, Alec and I over the weekend, it was so cute. This one. Okay. All right, last one. All right. We'll do one more. There we go. Put it in. Cover it up. Pat, pat. There we go. Night seeds. All right, now let's water them. We planted 4 little lumps of watermelon and 3 cantaloupe. I'm curious to see how both of those do. Both varieties are a variety that it's like 80 days to harvest. So fingers crossed. I did try to grow a watermelon before in the greenhouse, and I got a watermelon that was like the size of a grape. So, I mean, it was a watermelon, I guess, but it was the size of a grape. So maybe we will get something this year. I'm hoping, for the boys' sake, that we'll have some kind of watermelon or melon harvest. It will be really fun and exciting. And then over here, where all the little wee things are growing, I did get around to getting our corn seeds in the ground. It's a popcorn variety that I'm growing this year. And last year I did rows, but the way I ended up putting the seeds in the ground, like I just ended up rotating around the bed. So it's like a perimeter of corn and then empty space in the middle. And that is where I'll put the rest of my pumpkin seeds that I want to get in the ground. And then I'll probably end up putting some pumpkin seeds in the garden as well. But over here, where the little waste baskets are, those are visual reminders for the boys. Please don't run over these little piles of dirt. We're planting a giant variety of pumpkin. They're supposed to be like up to 100 pounds of pumpkin. And I probably should have only done like 3 or 4, but I guess I just kind of wanted to ensure that we at least got a very large pumpkin. Hopefully I don't get 5 large pumpkins. I wonder if I could sell those. Like, if you had the opportunity to buy a really giant pumpkin from somebody that like wasn't at a pumpkin patch, would you do it? That's something that I suppose we could do, because what would I do with 500 pounds of pumpkin? That would just be ridiculous. Okay, everybody's lilacs are blooming except for mine. I have 3 lilac plants in my yard, and that bloom up there is the only thing. My mom was very kind and invited me to come over to cut up a bunch of her lilac bush. So I have some of that in the house, and oh my gosh, it is just so amazing. You just walk in the room and it just slaps you in the face. And if I'm gonna get slapped by anything, I want to get slapped by the smell of lilacs. But those are kind of starting to wilt, so I'm wondering if maybe I'm gonna ask my neighbor if I can bum some lilacs off of her bush, because hers is just really big and mature, and I have lilac envy 100%. I don't know what happened, but could someone give a message to the smallest lilac who ever lived? Oh goodness, it's so tiny. Look at that little buddy. Has anybody else binge listening to the new Taylor Swift album? I know there's somebody else out there. Okie dokie, let's see. The front bed, which I haven't really talked about a ton, we're just slowly making something happen here. And I did have a bunch of tulips coming up in here. Alec picked those for me. I did not request that, but here we are. They're in the house. We're enjoying them. But I put the rest of my zinnia starts there. And in the past, I've grown just the California giant zinnia variety. Those were just the seeds that I was given at the time, and I made do with the packet. And that packet really just led me to fall in love with zinnias. And I bought 3 different varieties this year that I have really high hopes for. They are absolutely gorgeous. And I just want them. I just want them to bloom so bad. So I have all those starts out. And I will still be direct sowing some of those. I did also put a couple of the zinnia plants down there in that little bed. The 2 echinacea that I had planted there are gone. I think that I covered everything that I planted other than what is in this bed here. Right here, I just dug like a little trench, and I planted some blue hollyhock seeds and these white moonflowers. I'm really excited to see how that combination evolves. We're just gonna put them in the greenhouse real quick. What was that bug? Whatever. Okay. While I'm in here, I'm going to water because I haven't been doing that. How do I grow anything? I'm so neglectful. This week, I am going to transplant my cilantro. I do not want that to bolt. I have the worst luck growing cilantro. The one time I was successfully able to grow cilantro was this time that I had planted it in the spring, and it ended up coming up like the following winter. And my son dug it out of the ground to plant in his pretend garden. It's no longer with us. So I want to get those in bigger pots and then move them probably into the house, or I don't know, somewhere where it's going to be cooler, because I'd really love to have cilantro. Even though cilantro is a cool weather herb, I just always associate it with warm time food like tacos in the summer and tacos. I really need to get my jalapenos in the ground as well. Those I'm going to plant either tomorrow or the next day. Basically the first sunny day that we have, I'm going to put those in the ground, and hopefully those will perk up a little bit. But I'm just going to kind of wrap things up here because I've got things that I need to do today. Alrighty, thank you for tagging along with me for another garden tour. I hope that you are doing wonderful and have a wonderful weekend. I will see you in the next one. As always, I love you, have fun, and be kind.